Welcome to another episode of the Religion Law Podcast, where you learn about religious freedom and other religion law related topics through a short question and answer format. I'm your host, Michael Fielding. Let's see how you do on today's quiz. Religion Law Quiz number 71, numero 71. Okay, today we're going to go back to a topic that we visited a few quizzes ago, and this topic is going to be dealing with the context of pro bono representation and ethical issues for attorneys. And somebody may say, well, I'm not an attorney. Why should I care? And I will tell you the reason why it matters to you is attorneys obviously have ethical obligations. There's ethical rules that every state bar has, and there are practices or rules that impact attorneys when they are engaged in pro bono activities. And at times you will have people of faith who are not attorneys, but who recognize that there is a real need out there for pro bono service or legal services for very poor people that can't afford it. And so what they will do is put together a program of some sort to try to help the poor and needy, and then have attorneys show up and give the pro bono representation. And what's important here is when people are doing these programs or trying to construct them to try to help the poor and needy, they need to understand the ethical limitations that exist on attorneys so that the program, frankly, can hopefully get off to a good start and not have ethical impediments that would inhibit attorneys from engaging in the conduct. Okay. So with that background, let's give the quiz. Tina, Jeff, and Ahmad are all of different faiths. Tina is Catholic, Jeff is Baptist, and Ahmad is Muslim. Each feels a keen sense of a need to provide pro bono assistance to the less fortunate. Each is also aware of the risk of a conflict of interest that can occur by doing this. What can Tina, Jeff, and Ahmad do, either collectively or individually, to not run afoul of ethical prohibitions on conflicts of interest as they perform pro bono work? What is the answer here? Well, let me give you the answer. Tina, Jeff, and Ahmad need to individually or collectively find a nonprofit or court program that provides pro bono services. Perhaps the most classic example of this is a nonprofit entity that sponsors a law day for pro bono services. The applicable ethics rule is Rule 6.5, and I'll have a version of Rule 6.5 in the show notes. And then a key point of the rule is that if you are providing pro bono services and you know that the representation will create a conflict of interest, then you cannot provide it. For example, if you know your law firm represents Bank X in collection work, and at the law day, the person seeking assistance is asking questions of you, the attorney, about how to deal with their credit card that they have with Bank X, then you are ethically prohibited from providing pro bono advice. However, if they come to you asking about Bank Y and you're the attorney and you don't have any knowledge of anyone in your firm doing legal work for Bank Y, then you can provide the limited scope of pro bono services. So let's just reiterate these key principles. If you're thinking about doing a law day, there needs to be a nonprofit entity or court program that would sponsor this. And when that occurs, attorneys can just show up and essentially answer questions off the cuff. And as long as they are not aware of any conflicts of interest, they can do it. And you can see why that can be really beneficial, because you can have people coming in, they can ask their questions, they can get answers, they can get pointed in the right direction. Now, let's assume that somebody comes in, the attorney talks with the person, and then it becomes really clear that this problem can't be resolved in a one-off conversation, and the person really does need to engage an attorney. Then the attorney will have to run conflicts outside of this law day to see if they have any conflict of interest. And then if they don't, then they can do the representation. So, all right, that's your quick little primer on ethical rules for attorneys engaged in pro bono service. Again, if you are working with a nonprofit, even if you're a non-attorney, but you're wanting to do one of these law days, this is how you need to really structure it so you can get the attorneys to show up and give their legal advice. All right, that does it for today's quiz. I hope you found this educational. We will see you on the next Religion Law Quiz.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Remember, religion law quizzes are for educational purposes only and are not intended to be relied upon as legal advice. If you have found this episode to be helpful, please share it and leave a review. Until we meet again, keep being an influence for good.